This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. The topic I'm going to talk to you today about is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 3. The title is called A Star is Born. It started off with Sheree trying to do a brunch at her house. She and her assistant were going over the menu and going over the food. When the doorbell rings and Sanya walks in, and Sanya say, "Ooh, everything look good, everything look good," and then she said, "Is everybody coming to the brunch?" And then Sheree said, "Well." She said, "Well, I invited some of the people. I invited some of the people." And then the doorbell rang again, and it was Marlo. Marlo came, and they all sat down. And Marlo said, "Is anybody else coming?" And Sheree said, "Well, I told Sonya I invited her, but I don't know if anybody else." Some people said they was busy and doing stuff and stuff like that and stuff. And so she said, "Well, yeah, let's sit down and talk. Let's sit down and talk." So they sat down and talk, and they had a brunch, and they were saying, "Ooh." She said, "Ooh, yeah, it was just too much going on at the party, too much going on at the party." And Sonya said, "Yeah, too much going on at the party." And she was saying, "Yeah, and a lot was going on at Bravocon too. Bravocon too. I felt like I had to have she talking about, yeah, I thought she talking about, yeah, did y'all hear what Mama Joy said about Todd at Bravocon?" And and Sheree said, "Yeah, Marlo, I heard it." And then Sonya said, "Yeah, I heard it too." And then Marlo, and then after that, Sonya said, "Yeah, about BravoCon, I thought me and Drew was cool too until she said what she said at BravoCon, talking about if anybody come for her, she gonna fight them. She gonna be ready to fight." And she said, "I didn't like that. I didn't like that." And so Marlo said in her confessional, "Yeah, the streets are talking, and the streets of Mama Joy saying about what Todd did and what Todd did this." And they all started laughing. Then switched to the next scene, and then the next scene was Drew and Ralph on their date, and they was going mountain climbing, and Drew was saying mountain climb would be a good date night thing for them to do, since both of them are competitive. So the instructor showed them how to get up on the mountain climbing, and hooked them up and everything. And Drew fell off the first. Drew fell down, and then Ralph said, "Well, you gotta hold on to it. You gotta hold on to this." And then Drew told me, "This is hard for me. This is hard for me. I can hardly stand on the rocks." Then she fell down again, and then the instructor came over there and said, "Well, why don't we put you on the beginners thing?" And then Ralph said, "Yeah, let's switch." And then Drew said, "This stuff is hard. This stuff is hard." He said, "Well, let's switch. You get over here, and I get over there." And then he said, "Ooh, this is much easier for you, Drew. Look like you beat me up the thing. You climbing up the thing faster than me." And she said, "Yeah, I'm glad I got to the top. I got to the top." He was happy for it. And then it came down. Then it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was Kenya and her assistant at I guess at her house. She was going over the graphic photos, and she told her assistant Caitlin. She said, "This don't look right. This all messed up. The graphics ain't going with the picture." And so she said, "Yeah, they got you like they got your face looking like." And she said, "Yeah, this is not right." She said, "Why didn't they correct this? Why didn't they correct this?" And she said, "Well, I'm finna get on the phone and call them right now, and correct these photos, because these photos were supposed to go out and stuff." And then Kenya said in her confession, she said, "I hire all these assistants and look like I still have to do the work. I have to do the work. Why should I have to be calling them people? Caitlin should have did that." I was saying to myself, Kenya, I would have told Caitlin to get on that phone. I would say, "Caitlin, get on that phone and call these people," and stuff like that. And so it switched to the next scene. And then the next scene after that was the next thing after that was Kandi going to the studio to talk to Don Juan about her big schedule. And she said, "Don Juan, we got a lot going on." He said, "Yeah, you do got a lot going on." He said, "I just want to go over the schedule with you. He said, "Yeah." He said, "Kandi, let's make a list." So Kandi got there, and she got a chalkboard, and she had a list, and Shady Production was putting up all she had to do and stuff. And Kandi got halfway to the middle of the thing, said, "Ooh, there's a lot of stuff doing." And then Dawn said, I told you had a lot going on, Candy, that you need to cut back on some of the stuff." She said, "No, no." and stuff. She said, well, I guess I can do everything that's on this thing. He said, but Candy, what about the stuff that you supposed to be doing with Todd and stuff? You supposed to be helping Todd in the movie. She said, yeah, I told Todd I was gonna help him with the movie as far as the writing and that stuff, but I want to be a producer. I don't want to star in the movie. And he said, oh, you don't want to be the star? And she said, no, Don Juan. She said, every time I be the star, I'll be in the beginning of the movie, I'll be a star of the movie, or something like that. Everybody, our people want to top my, I just want to be in the movie to take credit. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't think Kandi want to take credit. I think Kandi want to have her hand in every little thing, but then it's kind of get overwhelming for her and stuff, and she want to do this, and then Todd want her to work with him because Todd look at it, he sacrificed a whole lot to work for her because he used to be a producer behind behind on Housewives. So yeah, he want her to encourage him. But then it went to the next scene, and then the next scene after that was next scene after that, I'm trying to go off my notes, but at the next scene after that was Marlo driving around in the rain with the boys, and Michael said, "Ooh, I can't wait till you buy me some $1,000 tennis." And he said, "Oh." And then so Michael said, "I just like going shopping. I just like going shopping." And she said, "Oh no, William said I just like go shopping." And she said to Michael, "Michael, how's your grades?" Michael said, "I'm a straight A student." She said, "Really? Are you really a straight A student, huh?" And he said, "Well, I'm an A or B student." And Marlo said, "Now, when you become a straight A student, then I might buy you some $1,000 tennis." And then William said, "Yeah, I do." And then they had drove up to the curb, and it was raining. And then somebody brought out a package. And then Marlo got the bag and put it in her car, and they drove off. And then the next scene was Drew preparing a lunch for Courtney. She was talking about Courtney is Ralph's cousin, and Ralph just found out about Ralph being her cousin and all kind of stuff. So she wanted to have some kind of lunch or dinner to invite her. And she was going over the menu with her chef, and she was saying, "Yeah, I got this wine put out. It's called something." And the chef said, "No, it's pronounced this way." He said, "Well, whatever it's called, it was some kind of fancy French wine." And then the doorbell ring, and then it was Courtney and her friend. And so she brought some wine too. And then Drew kind of looked, and Drew said, "Oh, I know him." And then so Courtney said, "Oh, you know him?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "He my ex-partner, but he also my baby daddy." That's what Courtney said. And she said, "Yeah, he was in one of my videos." And then so he said, "Video?" She said, "Yeah, he was like an extra or something in one of my videos. I know I seen him in somewhere." And they were saying back in the day he used to be with some kind of popular R&B group, and then he would also be in videos and stuff. And so they all sat down and they got to talking and stuff. And she was saying, "Yeah, how everything going all right with the girls and stuff like that." And she said, "Well, let me go in." She said, "Well, let me go in there and talk with the boys," because Drew said she had a phone call. And then when she got the phone call, I said, "Oh, how you doing, Candice?" Candice at FaceTime Drew, and she said, "Drew, I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods. I'm gonna be in Atlanta for my Rhyme tour for my writing tour, and I want you to be a part of it." And said, "Oh, I'm so happy to be a part of it. Be a part of it." She said, "Well, Shamare was supposed to do it, but Shamare said she had something else to do, so she couldn't do it. So I thought you should do it." And Drew said, "I'm so honored. I'm so grateful." And then Ralph came back in there and said, "Huh? What? Did I hear that right? She wants you to sing with her at the writing." She said, "Yeah, she want me to sing with her." And Ralph said, "Ooh, that's good, that's good." And then so they came back in there, and she said, "Courtney, my friend Candice, want me to sing with her at a concert when she come down here at a Watery concert." She said, "Would you like to come?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, I would like to come. I'm glad you invited me." She said, "Are you gonna invite all the other girls?" She said, "Well, yeah, because Candice said she had already talked to Kenya and Kandi, and I told her I would invite the rest of the girls." She said, "I come just as long as it don't be no stuff at the thing." And Drew said, I'm sure it won't be nothing. I'm sure all the girls will be on their best behavior." And then after that scene, it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was okay, the next scene was Drew going to the rehearsals, and she saw Candice rehearsing, and then her manager and her producer stopped. And Drew said, "Yeah, my vocals are not on point." Like I said, she said, "We're gonna work that out in rehearsal." We're going say, "I'm so glad that you came." And then Candice hugged Drew, and Drew hugged Candice, and then Drew sat down in the audience while Candice was still singing her lines and stuff like that. And then Candice said, "Ooh, that you did good. That was a good job, good job." And then the manager told her, he said, "Well, you Candice gonna sing this song, and then Candice gonna introduce you, and then you're gonna come in on this part." He was telling Drew, and Drew said, "Yeah, I got it." And then next thing you know, everybody was showing up at the winery and stuff. And some of the girls came and they were friends and stuff. And then when Marlo came, I think Marlo was the last one that came. And then Sonya said hi to Marlo and Sheree and Courtney. And then Candy said a high dry, a high, a dry high. And then Kenya looked kind of funny. And then Sonya say, y'all not gonna speak to Marlo. Y'all not gonna speak. Marlo say, "That's all right. I don't care. I don't care." And then say, "Let's sit down. Let's sit down." So they sit down, and they sit down, and so they all sit down. Next thing you know, the show started. And when the show started, Candice got out there and she sung a little part, and some of the girls was clapping for Candice, and some of the girls was kind of snickering and looking at Candice, doing a little dance stuff. Next thing you know, Candice introduced Drew, and her and Drew was singing, and they sung the affirmation part two off our video, because she got affirmation one on a deep south on a deep deluxe original, but she I think she put it on the deluxe too. But anyway, when she got down there, Kenya say, "Ooh," and then first Candice say, that couldn't have been me. I couldn't have been up there singing no background and stuff." And then Kenya said, "Yeah, I thought she was going to do more than a couple of hymns and hums." And then so when she got down, she went down there, she asked the girl, she said, "How did I do? How did I do?" And said, "Oh, you did pretty good, Drew. You did pretty good, Drew." To me, Drew sounded better than Candice, and Candice had been singing better than her, but to me, Drew sounded better. But anyway, they both sounded good, but like Candice has like a light, airy type voice, and Drew has that powerful, soulful, sensual type of voice. But anyway, I think the little part she did had, I think Drew did do a good job on that. But anyway, got back to the party, and then they said, "Yeah, you did pretty good. You did good. You did all right." And then I think it was Sheree say, "Sonya even stood up for you, Drew." And Drew said, "Oh, she did really?" Say, "Oh, thank you, oh, thank you." And he said, "Yeah." And then she said, and then Kenya said, "We thought you were gonna sing more than just what you did." And then Candice, and then Drew said, "Nah, that was really Candice said. I really couldn't do that. That was really Candice said. So I was just glad to be on stage and sing when I sung." And then so everybody was getting ready to leave. And then Drew say, "Oh, Candy, Candy, what happened at your restaurant, the incident?" And then Marlo said, "The incident? You mean a shooting?" And then Candy said, "Well, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that." She said, "Oh, you can't talk about that." She said, "Oh, it's all good. It's all good." And then Sonya gonna say, "Well, Drew, I thought me and you was cool until you said that at Bravocon." And she said, "What did I say at Bravocon?" Said, "Talking about if somebody come for you, you gonna fight." She said, "No, somebody asked me a question. Somebody asked me, were you and Sonya real cool?" And I said, "Not at this moment." But I said, "If she come for me, I'll be ready, and I'll be ready to fight." She said, "That's the way I said that." She said, "But you talking about," she said, "I didn't say fighting you. I said I'll be." And then so they went back and forth, and this after that, Marlo kept talking about, and then Marlo kept talking about, they was getting ready to leave, and then Marlo said, "Drew, you didn't hold a Candy accountable like I want, like I thought you would. You not wouldn't hold." Say, "What you mean holding Candy accountable?" She said, "You said incident and not shooting." She said, "Well, we don't where I'm from in Chicago, we don't use the word shooting. And so, but it was a shooting. It wasn't no incident. It was a shooting. And my cousin got shot. And Kandi didn't send me no flowers. She didn't do nothing. She didn't even call and say about a thank you. And you didn't hold her accountable. She said, "Well, I had nothing to do with that." And from what I heard, Kandi had nothing to do with it. I heard it was some roommate that shot that shot your cousin that somebody knew from Candice's restaurant. She said, "But you still didn't hold her accountable." She said, "My nephew died, blink, blink." And then she got to hooping and hollering at Drew, and Drew said, what's going on? What's going on?" And then Courtney came around the corner because she came back, and then Drew shook her head, and then the show went out. Marlo has been going back and forth. First she said Kandi didn't send no flowers. Then she said Kandi didn't call and give her condolences. And then Shady Production showed where Kandi showed the receipts where she did call and tell her she was sorry about her nephew passing away. And then she talking about Kandi didn't send no flowers. Then she talking about Kandi didn't call her. Marlo's just twisting this story all kinds of which ways just to make a storyline so she could stay on the show. It's other things that Marlo could do to make a storyline. She could talk more about her nephew and what went on with their mama and stuff like that. But seemed like further along the line they is gonna try to do a little stuff on Marlo. But anyway, that's all I have for part two. I wasn't meaning for it to go this long, but this is A. What's it? That ain't even tells it like a T.I. is. I am out.